Hi, people. I am Chinghiz together with you. Today, July 27th, 2023. And first, about one of my best singer, composer, conductor, Sinead O'Connor. She died. Information today I received. And today's photo of today Chinghiz Live with her, her photo. Her photo, and of course, we all know particular I, me, her best song, modern music, one of top song. Nothing compared to you. I watched this video, this clip, when I was on the system Tehran torture. Okay, these last days of evil empire, Soviet Union. And this clip in very crucial time, this was helped me, you know, to go to hell and back. But back, Sinead O'Connor, nothing compares to you, was very helpful. I love her music, her songs. And of course, these world celebrities of modern music, they are they backed by their songs. My mission, me, is all crucial. Again, I think that particularly time when no was internet, no was even and not was have access to even TV channels. News was isolated, and this situation when Sinead O'Connor and others, Michael Jackson, and many others, tops of modern music. This was crucial for me. And now you're seeing who they. And I know, I believe, and I know Sinead were together with me during this decade of years, strongly back me in my mission. So, therefore, I call my mission together with you, and only this. If we're together, we can. If not, means not. No. this. I say. Now about Iran, morality police return to street. If this decision taken by Iranian authority, this means this authority truly hate their own people. They truly take Satan, evil stance, position. Finally, how many people they kill it? Young girls, boys, men. Peaceful protest. In last protest movement in Iran, Mahsa Amini movement by Beraya song. How many? And after that, they rightly, I think, was that the attack this day. You see them. This Ilham Aliyev, her police, and the and continuation, we're seeing them this all day. Sonic weapon is are reacting rather. In this time when are reacting, Petuch, Sodom Himor. This is Ilham Aliyev police and the three generals, and you seeing them transparently. Who? Ilham Aliyev authority. Sodom Himor forum, Petuch. Literally. Will continue. And I have radar and I continue Chinghiz life. There was right decision by Iranian authority. Ban morality police. I even said about that. And more people, youngs among them, would think this compulsory hijab already stop it. And this should be. You're talking about democratic Iran, moderate Iran. There can't be any compulsory mandatory dress code for women, particularly this head scarf, hijab. There should be free choice. Who wants work, be in hijab, can. Who don't, means don't. Young people also think that during this revolution, Mahsa Amini movement, compulsory hijab ended. And this was one of key moments when protesters protest power start come low. But after that, when protest movement was stopped by protesters, was stopped because compulsory hijab was end, morality police was bad. Iran authority decide restore that. There are hundreds people died for that. And they show how this authority truly hates the people, the youth. Putler ally can be other. Putler ally can be other. People, nothing for them. Their life, nothing for them. Therefore, the end view very severe. Iranian people hate to this Khamenei, Mameni, Islamic world. Will help them for finally remove this regime of mullahs. There should be republic, but democratic republic, and view. And people will return on streets and squares. It should be much more powerful movement than previous one. And here, good chance we will remove this regime of mullahs. We will punish this Khamenei. We will punish the Islamic world chiefs. We will punish this Supreme Court who ruled this fascist forum acting. They all will be punished. Iranian people will do that. Here, info about sorry for seconds. Masi Alinejad tweeted its video. She tweeted, the authorities in Iran forced this woman to do a false confession on state TV. Her crime is to resist force hijab and shoot in the face of the morality police that I am a woman and I am not scared of you. To support her, repeat her own powerful words. And here a video from this woman. He dressed it as فحاشی کردی به ضابط رسمی فحاشی کردی همه داره مستند گردنم پایانگاریتم باعث همینو یادت باشه من یه زنم تا ابد وای نیستم از چقدر محکم ما حسین یه رد شدی حرمت شکنی که از امن حسین چیه sorry this form should be played. I'm sorry. فحاشی کردی به ضابط رسمی فحاشی کردی همه داره مستند گردنم پایانگاریتم باعث همینو یادت باشه من یه زنم تا ابد وای نیستم از چقدر محکم ما حسین یه رد شدی حرمت شکنی که از امن حسین چیه آقا بیا اینجا شما میخوای یکی رو من اصلا قرار نیست شما رو هدایت کنم نه اون موجودی من با موجود چه موجوده من از چه قانونی مجرد And so this quality of video, I believe in that this intervention from Banke, okay, it was normal video. I was watching that before downloaded this video to device. Kenneth wrote, a German woman warns Iran could execute my dad at any time. Iran sentenced Jamshid Sharmakht to death last February for so-called corruption on earth, as one catch-all term the Iranian regime uses for any expression of opposition. He and his daughter. Jamshid Sharmakht and daughter. Innocent people. You know. To death, and they think Khomeini, they think Khamenei, okay? They think this what? People will punish you, Khamenei. I said. If of course here saying that, but this not means Iranian authority will allow Iranian people view. Of course, this other station will accept this reform, as I said. Their Musavi and others concrete plan how by referendum change constitution. There one important video tweet I try and here intervention in this station. My device, this device, you know, device is not internet. You know, how they using high techs. This is Israel Mossad helping you Hamariv freely intervening. But this not stop with us, not you. You online, this not propaganda. This. Rana English, quote, as Iranian women, we have shown that we are not afraid of any fight until we attain our rights. This quote from Iranian women, youth statement. HRA calls for urgent action in response to humiliating and disproportionate sentences against Iranian women. I strongly back this call. There should be Iranian people organized forum fight. You know, they're fraud. They lie to you. They mislead you. There's how many others. They said not you, morality police, not your compulsory job. When you're down, you stop your protest movement, they immediately restore that. They covert the evil, satanic authority. Therefore, they act in this form. I say. Now, time again, we should fight. If you want reform, you shall fight. And I think world this time not will silence, not will only by the statement frame the position. I say. About Ukraine. About Ukraine. Hitler continue to destroy Ukraine. Before our eyes means humanity, including Western countries, NATO member countries, United States, Britain, Germany, France, Italy, and others, developed countries. And these countries announced it by statement, by some decisions. Will stand with Ukraine anyway and as long as this will need. But in practice, we see they in practice doing less. And doing this less, I think, one, very grave mistake. Second, they allow it, my English, they allow it, Hitler's genocidal war, they allowed Hitler's rockets, kill people, Iranians, civilians. Hitler mainly targeted civilian areas, children, women, and infrastructure, buildings, even church, Orthodox church. Genocide is genocide. And you, Western countries, allowed that. Question, why? And I will say first, this great mistake and this very bad for you, for your country. I will say that again. But question, why you doing this? United States of America, directly Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Why you allow Hitler destroy Ukraine? Joe Biden. Ukraine not yet not have enough air defense system. Why? Not yet. For that, even in cases when you decided give this weapon to Ukraine, you give them less. Why? For that, what happening in Ukraine, in Odessa, in Nikolaev and others. For that, Ukraine should say thank you for you, to you. Huh? Shame on you, Wallace, Britain defense minister. Shame on you. And Jack Sullivan, together with Wallace, also blah blah about Ukraine should be say more thank you, even. Why? Ukraine should say you thank you. Why? Ukraine fighting front line. Behind this front, you, your people, your children. Everybody know, understand that finally. Who put there and put their structure, which create in your own soil by your green light. Previous administrations, governments, there's no matter. You, green light, creation of put restriction to your country. And you have this reality, you're doing mistakes, you're blah blah, this, as fascist, truly as fascist position. The Jack Sullivan, look at his face black. Evil. No escalation. Not have argument, not have mind, reason. How you can use this as argue when all that mess happening in Europe? When Putin already crossed all line, all red line about escalation, and immediately he crossed this line. But after 1.5 years, the genocidal war, Putin continued to destroy Ukraine, and there are not yet no air attacks. There are several patriots, means Ukraine are not covered. No people, Ukrainians vote for you. Truly vote for you. No blah blah. By your practice, you show that. You allow Putler rockets destroy Ukraine and Ukraine people, kill Ukrainian people. Is condom İlham Aliyev intervention. Huh? Same or not? Because same persons against me. You allow that blah blah about the system terror and for kill me each second. You blah blah about obligation. International law, no, you're fighting for evil. Even your lie, this one lie. And in Ukraine case, same, we see, which this already can't be happening, but this happening even more destroyable because Putin using his rocket and his rocket parts. Again, NATO countries the software, hardware, what how this call it, of these rockets. And you even not giving enough patriots. After when Odessa destroyed, how many people died there, children? You decide, hey, we sending you additional patriots. Put that on Odessa. And this policy, you're thinking, this good, Joe Biden? Because Sullivan? Here's Zelensky. Ukraine Forum, English. Zelensky calls on US to provide Ukraine with long-range capabilities, means ATACMS. I replaying, yes, very important, urgently should happen, ATACMS. And here another tweet from Zelensky. Listen, Ukraine needs a full-fledged sky shield. This is the only way to defeat Russian missile terror. We have already shown that we can shoot down even the Russian missiles that the terrorists boasted about. Thanks to the help of our partners and the air defense systems provided to Ukraine, our defenders on the sky have saved thousands of lives. But we need more air defense systems for our entire territory, for all our cities and communities. The world must not get used to Russian terror. Terror must be defeated, and it is possible, tweeting Zelensky. And here, Zelensky will put this video, posted this video in his tweets. Look, very important. How Putler destroying Ukraine, appealing Europe, and how United States, Britain, and others act in unacceptable form. Hitler destroying Ukraine, and you NATO countries, United States and others failing stand with Ukraine for stop Hitler nowadays, his genocidal war, and this, I say that, is unacceptable. Everybody understand if Putin another strike killing people, children, responsibility on Joe Biden, on Rishi Sunak, on Scholz, Macron, today's Italy Prime Minister, and others, countries, leaders. Directly responsibility. Why? I say you have political decision in United States, for example, and other countries too. They are passed bills by Congress. There are enough money was for that given. All these weapons you have, all green lighted by American people and Congress, and administration acting less firm. And this boosting Putler. I know that exactly. Putin allow all that as green light. I'm doing. Again, there is no reason, mind. Huh? For example, patriots. I say how many they're specialists, military. They will say for cover Ukraine needed 30, 50, how many? Trillion, I don't know, specialists will say. Same about other weapons or tanks. How many tanks there? Leopards. Should be 1,000 or 700. Oh, Abrams, Leopard, these British tanks. They even not yet in battlefield. If yes, they are very less. And same about HIMARS, same about other weapons. About F-16, again, decision have their coalition of F-16, their training process starts. And this can be before end of year and should be, shall. But there was some info they plan for next year. Why next year when this urgency, about urgency. And before end of year, there's no problem. Ukrainian pilot will fly, will fight, will stop Putler, and will remove Putin from Ukraine, and this should be all your wish, all your position. Putin should be stopped. Because as I said repeatedly and others too, by stopping Putin, this in this battlefield of Ukraine can and will do that. And who behind Putin? I repeatedly saying, who continue here Putin, and they go big war, who own the system which ruled the world, Rothschild and Co. Another big crisis as the Great Depression, World War II, later other blockbusters, including 9/11, John Kennedy, 2008 financial blockbuster, 16, 20 QATM. All that happening, particularly last because about Putin, last attack on your country for destroy your country's democratic institutions, starting from 15, and already 8 years. And they aim 2024. Therefore, they try keep Putin in power. They understand without Putin, big war not will possible. Not will possible. United States alone can't. United States can't alone launch big war. Which United States? aka Trump, United States. His new government, Trump will jail it or not. You know, this Garland, Attorney General of Joe Biden, 1.5 years, deny, truly investigate Trump's crimes. 1.5 years. After 1.5 years, when all pressure was, they are me, they are others, because America, because democratic institutions, because world torture of liberty for that. After 1.5 years, he appoint Jack Smith as special counsel and start do his job. I hope not will frame it as previous special counsel was framed, Robert Mueller. And so he already indicted Trump in one case, classified docs. Other case should happen today, even already. Coup attempt, January 6. There in Virginia, I think Virginia, yeah. Again, also by fraud intervention, by intervention for uh, stop constitutional process for pressuring governor of state, lieutenant governor to these all very serious crimes on top secret dogs particular. They are treason. But we now I will say very I think very serious should be Joe Biden, President of America, take that. You know, in top secret dogs already the indictment, that, but they are not mentioned. Kushner, about Jack Smith, and not mention others people who part of this devastatingly destroyable and destroying American national security system because these top secret dogs was selling to Saudi Arabia, to Israel, and was given to Putin. But in indictment is not revealed, not exist. I think they are not was informed. Means you, America, failing in most important point of your country security, state security, you're failing. And you doing that intentionally. And other one, when this top secret trial should happen, Jack Smith called for December, but Cannon, Trump appointee of Florida, Miami, launch May next year. Means election campaign time. There likely can be delay. And even they planning use, I know, as election campaign, Trump planning use. This can be effective. Another one, this coup attempt. And there are other indictment, other Trump, other crimes in civil case too, in defamation, there are others. But much more serious this top secrets and coup attempt, an intervention election for keep his presidency by fraud, by very serious crimes, using his presidential power. These three main. One already in court delayed to May. Another one, when will this January 6th. And third one, Georgia or Virginia. When will election coming, 2024. This means who ruled world, which controlled political establishment, two, and mainly political establishment. First is financial system, second political establishment worldwide, particularly developed countries, particular United States of America, Britain, Germany, Italy, France, etc. Their political establishment, because they developed countries, they influence the world. Therefore, use this word particular. And their base remain in America, and they aim big war. And this means Putler should remain there, and only in one version he can keep his power as president if he will succeed or continuation of that, this process in Ukraine. In Ukraine not will able remove Putler from Ukraine. In this version, Putler keeping his power. Otherwise, he will be removed immediately, which should be, shall happen. Our all together common position should be a criminal, world criminal, he indicted under arrest warrant. There should be another arrest warrant from International Criminal Court. But Joe Biden administration failing stand with Ukraine. Same about Britain, about others. Acting with less. Giving, but less. Now, this is good for Putler as we seeing. And about Trump, 2024 election, the main position, Rothschild and Co. Put back Trump. If this is not possible, will they occur Trump? And these persons, Trump herself and somebody other who we will know soon, maybe DeSantis, maybe other. If one of first decision, leave NATO. And button of big war, push it. United States will launch war together with Israel against Iran. Putler will green light it by United States. All help will stop it. Freeze it, stop it for Ukraine. Putler, their quantity, even you can and will, I think, in this scenario, will have even more rockets, thanks to America. Of course, they can do that, will do that secretly by denying to white black, to black white. You know Trump. And big war will occur. China, Taiwan, India, Pakistan. Yes, possible and can. And the result of that, America will fall apart. and not only America. There will happen other things too. And here one of main, they go stop our fighting for stop climate crisis. One main goal in process. They aim why they by big crisis launched this big war, which they plan and kill billions people. 5 billion. They have 3 billion will enough for them. 5 billion should die. Huh? Hitler in grave. Salto mortale. Billions. Who they? They will do that. All the action show that. If you will watch from this position, why in climate crisis case they anyway even increasing produce fossil fuel. We all think, oh, these evil, satanic, how they can. But if you watch from this position of big war, you can understand. The climate crisis deniers, they have faith to Satan, literally, who ruled the world. Rothschild and Co. and British monarchy, part of that. And they try launch this big war. And for that reason, they using the schemes, lobbyists, influencers. They're much more powerful than any authority in the world. But they're very weak before me, if we together. And they're doing Eric Garland. No investigate, no. 1.5 year. Eric Garland, they come to Eric Garland by schemes. And they come to Joe Biden by schemes. Means lobbyists, influencers, they are this. They do this. Same they when coming to Congress. Or same in Britain, in Parliament, in government. Or in Germany, or in France. Same method by schemes. 1.5 year. If we not to stop that, this 1.5 year will crucial. Why Eric Garland refuse start investigate Trump's crimes. Trial will not in December, should be in December. But this coup attempt, already about secret docs we know in May, but in coup attempt case, it should be in December, trial start. If so, it is very important, very crucial for America, first for America, and to entire world. If not, will later. This means Trump not will jail it. This means he will green light it for run a presidency. And there he will win. How I also said, if you think for them, American voters' position so much important as previously times, decades of years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years, no later. Have voters' position have, but they have two. They anyway will put into White House Trump or aka Trump. We can stop that, and I'm fighting for that. But Joe Biden think, hey, Sullivan, others, good. And no Sullivan thing. This, of course, you, Joe Biden. I'm not talking about, but Sullivan and co. Evil. What doing evil at you, Joe Biden? In climate crisis case, same. And this climate crisis truly is not who rule the world, they plan, planning, try achieve, will success, not will. This climate crisis is killing. And of course, we're failing, Joe Biden. This historical chance for America lead because this new world, new economy, new by zero emission economy. America have great, fantastic chance lead, failing, opposing. Rothschild and Co. Therefore, here not will some acceptable for people. Not will do sense other my English. You say there's no schemes. Is president, is America, state, power, the balance of powers. This we will do, we fighting, this all why. My mission doing all transparency. And I show you, American people and world, what's happening in America too, and why happening. For what all that go this forum, not as needed forum, this forum. Rothschild and Co. If they will launch big war, there's no way you will survive as people. They will kill, they think, will kill 5 billion, 3 billion. Good for them. As slavery. All these 3 billion will chip it. Even baby from born will come as vaccine. They all that tool opportunity already have. And do that not difficult. Chip it each one. And new world order occur. And who will fight climate crisis in big war time, big war situation? Fighters will can, but zero. And climate crisis kill them. And if you will broke 1.5 degrees Celsius, no matter what you will do, United States, G7, G20, and developed countries, no matter what you will do, you will not be able to stop climate crisis, which will kill you as civilization, as Earth people, as humanity. That time, 2035. For that, today should happen. Climate emergency, officially announcement worldwide as COVID-19, even more, of course. And action same for, again, attack. And same form action. Which form action? Which plan there should be for stop climate crisis? New Marshall Plan. Otherwise, not will effective because emergency of situation, apocalyptic reality already undeniable, coming, avalanche effect coming. But today, not too late. You can. Will do. Rothschild and Co., who rule the world, said no. Will not will. Because Rothschild say no. So reality that in one case climate crisis killer, other case big war. And Putin launched war against Ukraine for that reason, part of this big war. If somebody thinks Putin launched war solely, is another blockbuster lie, or real form lie. War is peace, slavery is freedom, black is white, white is black. But in this reality, my mission can survive you. My mission actually for that, I decade of years before you, transparently, and I said, my mission first, rescue you, Earth people, and you sing. This we can talk about be survived, yes? Okay? Together with me, we will succeed. If as humanity, you and me together, and will act together for stop climate crisis. Park establishment, this. They promise to Ukraine failure. And this Ukraine in front line fighting for protect them too. Why they failing? After I said that by my English. Rothschild and Co. and they aim. Put into White House the person, Trump, if possible, if not other one, is the aim. But we can crash Rothschild and Co. plan. How I said, Ukraine people, heroic people, great nation need weapon. And you shall give all these weapons urgently. Urgency, emergency, urgent. Air takums, enough quantity, 1,000, no less, of air takums. Other country, same. Britain, France, Germany have same range, 300 miles missiles. F-16 before end of year. And needed means enough quantity, no less. And Patriots should cover all entire Ukraine area. There should be enough quantity of Patriots for that. All this urgently, immediately, without delay, now. And Ukraine will remove Putler from Ukraine, from Crimea to 1991 border of Ukraine. And Putler will no longer exist, his authority. Plan of big war of Rothschild and Co. They call it that not big war. They call it that big crisis. They very like these words, crisis. Will fail. I know that exactly. If you think Netanyahu extremist authority come this forum, most extremist government in Israel, which undeniably racist state of apartheid. And they are fascist extremist authority Netanyahu. Why they there? This is part of big war plan. Why Joe Biden refusing act against fascist extremist government of Israel? Why Joe Biden is United States authority? In Trump time, Trump did much more even on apartheid for help and back it apartheid regime of Israel. This Trump did. But Joe Biden, not Trump, should be. And their apartheid state, racist state, and American authority call it Israel, continue call Israel as ally. How a racist state can be ally of United States or of Britain or Germany? Racist, apartheid, confirm it, verify it. Why you try deny this fact? Why you try in this case say to white, black to black, why? What pushing you, Joe Biden, and American political establishment, or Britain political establishment of Germany, of France? Rothschild and Co. Why Kushner untouchable? I say you, Rothschild and Co. Why this Garland, Attorney General, 1.5 years refused launch investigation on Trump? Rothschild and Co. And I tried today said why all that happened. Lara Friedman. State settlements are the engine of Israel forever occupation and the war crime. Here, author of article report in Down, author Michael Link, he tweeting about his article and he tweets, there are close to 300 Israeli settlements in the occupied Palestinian territory. They are a flagrant violation under international law, says the United Nations Security Council. Are they also war crime? Read my new article, published by Down. And Michael Link, he was Human Rights Special Rapporteur on occupied Palestinian territory, predecessor of Francesca Albanese, who current Special Rapporteur of occupied Palestinian territory. Michael Link. He very experienced. He have all facts, docs, and this article I will read because very important. I call you also read. Who not will like my English, I will read now. I'm reading because importance of this article. Settlements are the engine of Israel forever occupation and a war crime. Michael Link. Michael Link served as the United Nations Special Rapporteur for Human Rights in the occupied Palestinian territory from 2016 to 2022. He is a non-resident fellow at Down. Down means DAWN, Down. Democracy for the Arab world now. What means Down? Democracy for Arab world now. And he written 25 years ago this week, on July 17, 1998, more than 140 countries gathered in Rome to complete the negotiations for a new international treaty to create a permanent international tribunal, the International Criminal Court. Out of these talks emerged the Rome Statute that established the ICC, which would try perpetrators of serious international crimes, including war crimes and crimes against humanity. After 9 years of preparatory work and 7 rounds of negotiations led by United Nations, 120 states voted to adopt the treaty, which only 7 states voted against and 21 abstaining. The Rome Statute built upon the legacy of the Nuremberg and Tokyo military tribunals in the aftermath of World War II, as well as the war crimes tribunals for Rwanda and the former Yugoslavia set up in, in the 1990s. The ICC itself would come into existence in 2002 with its operations headquartered in The Hague, like the International Court of Justice. Many states would also enact the framework of the Rome Statute into the domestic legislation, broadening the growing reach of universal jurisdiction. The legal principle that any nation's court can try people for international crimes such as war crimes and crimes against humanity committed anywhere else in the world. As the negotiations in Rome concluded, Kofi Annan, then the United Nations Secretary General, offered his congratulations to the assembled state representative. Quote, 2 millenniums ago, one of this city's most famous sons, Marcus Tullius Cicero, declared that in the midst of arms, law stands mute. Annan remarked. As a result of what we are doing here today, there is a real hope that that bleak statement will be less true in the future than it has been in the past. One of the 7 countries voting against the Rome Statute was Israel. It, its refusal to ratify the treaty and join the ICC, it is widely acknowledged, was over the Rome Statute designating civilian statements in occupied territory as a war crime, which would directly apply to the activities of Israel political, military, and administrative leaders involved in the country's massive settlement enterprise in the occupied Palestinian territory since 1967. Among the list of war crimes laid out in the Rome Statute is Article 8, which prohibits the transfer, quote, the transfer, directly or indirectly, by the occupying power of part of its own civilian population into the territory it occupies, or the deportation or transfer of all or parts of the population of the occupied territory within or outside this territory. The language on settlement was not placed in the Rome Statute lightly or as a form of political revenge, as Israel alleged. Rather, its inclusion was deliberate, appropriate, and linear, the culmination of 50 years of precedent in international law. The Rome, the Rome Statute inclusion of settlements as a war crime was deliberate, appropriate, and linear, the culmination of 50 years of precedent in international law. In August 1949, the Geneva Conventions, the beating heart of modern international humanitarian law, were adopted by an international conference of member states. In the Fourth Geneva Convention, dealing with the protection of civilians during armed conflict, Article 49, paragraph 6 expressly proscribed the act of settler implantations. The occupying power shall not deport or transfer parts of its own civilian population into the territory it occupies. The accepted purpose of the prohibition was to preserve the demographic and social structure of the occupied territory and to forbid attempts by an occupied power to treat the territory as a fruit of conquest. As the prominent Swiss jurist Jean Pictet, one of the drafters of the Geneva Conventions, explained it in their 1958 commentary for the International Committee of the Red Cross, the prohibition on civilian settlement of occupied territory. Quote, intended to prevent a practice adopted during the Second World War by certain powers which transferred portions of their own population to occupied territory for political and social and racial reasons, or in order, as they claimed, to colonize those territories. Such transfers worsened the economic situation of the native population and endangered their separate existence as a race. In 1970, this was quote. Now I continue. In 1977, the parties to the Geneva Conventions gathered in Switzerland to negotiate new protocols to update its humanitarian protections. Among the provisions in the Protocol Additional 1 was Article 85, which repeated that language in Article 49, but now elevated the prohibition against settler implantation to be a grave breach and a war crime. In the 1990s, the United Nations, Israel, Netanyahu said, is not all about them. For them, all that no matter. Geneva Conventions, no matter. Rome Statute, no matter. International Criminal Court, no matter. Who will say that? Which authority wrote? And why they saying that? I'm saying that again. Because Rothschild and Co., who ruled world. Therefore, these written laws, international norms, for them, no matter. But we will force them, Netanyahu and Co. This international norm and law will matter for them too. Means for Israel authority. Because Netanyahu should and shall jail it by International Criminal Court. This will happen. I believe in that. For that, I will do what needed. Netanyahu and Co., Smotrich, Ben-Gvir, and others. I say, in the 1990s, the United Nations Commission on Human Rights released 3 major studies on settler implantation and population transfers authored by al-Khasavne, a renowned Jordanian jurist who would later become a judge on the International Court of Justice. Quote, the forced removal of people away from their traditional lands or the implementation of settlers without the consent of the original inhabitants into whose territory they are being moved. Close quote. Al-Khasavne wrote the first of these studies in 1993, are instrumental to assimilationist policies and constitute obvious breaches of minimum guarantee which the right to self-determination is accepted as conferring the right of a people to freely determine its destiny. In his follow-up 1997 study, Al-Khasavni concluded that given, quote, the range of human rights violated by population transfer and the implantation of settlers, they had to be considered systematic or mass violations of human rights. Thus, by the time that the final round of negotiations began in Rome in July 1998 to create the ICC, international law had already decisively accepted that civilian settlement in occupied territory was a war crime. The project in Rome was not to debate or dispel this international legal consensus, as Israel delegation apparently wanted, but to establish a court to provide accountability for all war crimes. The United Nations has long judged Israeli settlement to be a serious breach of the Fourth Geneva Conventions. The United Nations General Assembly first adopted a resolution condemning the settlement as completely null and void in December 1971, when there were fewer than 10,000 settlers in the conquered Palestinian territories, including Israeli-occupied East Jerusalem. Since then, since 1971, the General Assembly has adopted 163 resolutions specifically condemning Israeli settlements as illegal, the most frequently pronounced upon issue in its history. For its part, the United Nations Security Council has passed 7 resolutions since 1979, designating Israel settlements as illegal. Its most recent, Resolution 2334, means 2334, was approved in December 26. I very good remember that. I was part of that. Calling the settlements a flagrant violation of international law and demanding that Israel immediately and completely cease all settlement activities. The resolution also directed the United Nations Secretary General to report to the Security Council every 3 months on its implementation. In each of his 26 quarterly reports since the beginning of 2017, Secretary General Antonio Guterres has stated that Israel has taken no action was over to comply with the resolution's mandate. This is about Security Council of the United Nations. Because Rothschild said no. In the face of Israel's serial defiance of its resolutions, the United Nations has recently become more direct in its public reports on Israeli settlements. As the United Nations Special Rapporteur for Human Rights in the occupied Palestinian territory, I issued a report to the Human Rights Council in July 2021 that concluded that the settlements are the engine of this forever occupation and amount to a war crime. Last year, both the newly established United Nations Independent International Commission of Inquiry last year, means in 2022, both the newly established United Nations Independent International Commission of Inquiry on the Occupied Palestinian Territory and the Secretary General in his annual report on Israeli settlement stated that the settlements may constitute a war crime. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, was more unequivocal in a report this past March. Quote, the establishment and expansion of settlement in the occupied Palestinian territory and the occupied Syrian Golan, authorized or unauthorized under Israel law, amount to the transfer by Israel of its sorry, authorized under Israel law amount to the transfer by the Israel of its own civilian population into the territories it occupies, which is prohibited under international humanitarian law as consistently confirmed by the competent United Nations organs, including the International Court of Justice. The report concluded. Such transfers amount to a war crime that may engage the individual criminal responsibility of those involved. Close quote. This sent quote from Volker Turk, United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. Here, about international law, Blinken, fundamentally international law, Joe Biden, Rishi Sunak, or Boris Johnson was there. They about international law and norm, which is about world order. I see. The future decision by the International Criminal Court prosecutor should not legally be a difficult one. The status of Israeli settlements as a war crime is seemingly straightforward in international criminal and humanitarian law. In February 2021, a pre-trial chamber of ICC ruled that the court has criminal jurisdiction in Palestine and that the territorial scope of this jurisdiction extends to the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and Gaza. The Chief Prosecutor Office at the ICC has been investigating Israeli settlement as a war crime since Palestine submitted its initial complaint to the court in 2015. Israeli current war Israel's current far-right government in power since late last year is also a settler government that is aiming openly and in clear violation of international law to expand the settler population in the West Bank and Eastern Jerusalem to an unprecedented scale. According to the Amim, an Israeli human rights organization, the new government, Amim, the Israel Human Rights Organization, according to this Amim, the new government, the most right wing in Israel history, has already advanced more than 16,000 settlement housing units in East Jerusalem through the planning stages. Peace Now, another Israeli human rights organization, call it Peace Now, has reported that more than 13,000 new housing units are being planned for West Bank settlements this year. With almost 30,000 new housing units approved in only 6 months, this is by far the largest annual rate ever for expanding Israeli settlements, and it's still only July. At the end of June, on on the day that Israeli authorities approved nearly 5,700 new settlement housing units, Peace Now warned that the staggering expansion of Israeli settlement should make clear that the government is rushing headlong towards an annexation coup in West Bank. The chief architect of this plan is Bezalel Smotrich, Israel finance minister, who was also given a special ministerial role within the Ministry of Defense that essentially put him in charge of all the settlements. A radical settler himself, guided by his political motto of victory by settlement, Smotrich successfully pushed the Israeli cabinet to shrink the approval process for new settlements and housing units and placed primary authority in his hands. In May, Smotrich called for doubling the settlement population in West Bank to 1 million settlers within 2 years. The path is already being paved by a rapidly expanding settler road system and the forest of construction cranes in settlements across the West Bank. If the ICC prosecutor determines that Israeli settlements are the prima facie war crime under the Rome Statute, who, who could be held criminally liable among Israeli leadership. Smotrich is only the latest in a long line of Israel officials involved in the settlement enterprise, which every Israeli government has pursued since shortly after the end of the June 1967 war. Menachem Klein, the political scientist at Bar Ilan University in Israel, has observed that the settlements are Israel's largest national undertaking since its founding in 1948. Quote, almost the entire state is invested in this project. Close quote. The full apparatus of the state, the political, military, judicial, and administrative leadership has provided the financing, planning, diplomatic cover, legal rationale, security protection, and infrastructure that has been indispensable to the incess- incessant growth of the settlement over the past 56 years. Individual criminal liability would likely extend to Israeli past and present political leadership, to its military commanders responsible for the oversight of the occupation and the settlement, the senior administrators who planned the settlement and its supporting infrastructure, and to the international fundraising organizations that have directed billions of dollars over the years to settlements. Who this international fundraising organization? There should be named. This importance. We should say their name. We should say their name. The international fundraising organization that have directed billions of dollars over the years to settlements. We should know their names. This end of article near. The future decision by the ICC prosecutor should not legally be a difficult one. The status of Israeli settlement as a war crime is seemingly straightforward in international criminal and humanitarian law, but indictment of criminal liability for Israel settlement enterprise will very likely attract immense political pushback, particularly from the United States. Why? This will ultimately be a supreme test of political will. As I stated in my 2021 report to the United Nations Human Rights Council, quote, an occupying power that initiates and expands civilian settlement in defiance of international law and the Rome Statute cannot be serious about peace. Equally, an international community that does not impose accountability measures on a defiant occupying power contrary to international law cannot be serious about its own laws. Of course, that. End of article. And here logo down and Jamal Khashoggi. So, crucial what he had written. All based, confirmed, verified docs. All. Means nobody can deny that, including United States of America or any other country who will try deny these laws and facts. This forum world order not working, not will work, already as we're seeing. This injustice around the world, all starting from that. You in one case adopting means using this law, implementing this law. In other cases, you think, no good. Such forum laws no working. Joe Biden. Israel today authority, not ally of United States. Israel, racist state. Racist state can't be ally of United States of America. Period. For stop that, for stop apartheid regime, for stop this extremist government, United States shall act. Stop freeze this billions of billions dollar financing of Israel military and other cases. All that. There should be all that help, aid, financial aid, support, all should be stopped. Means freeze. And sanctions. And sanctions directly against Netanyahu, directly against Smotrich, directly against Ben Gvir, and others. I see. Here another very important fact check. This one. This shortly. Kenneth wrote, the Netanyahu undermines Israel democracy at home. Let's not forget the people of Gaza who have lived under the Israel government's devastating blockade for 18 years. Euromed HR provides a timeline for this open-air prison. Right here, timeline, 18 years of Gaza blockade. And here, shortly, here written. Timeline of Gaza blockade, how it started, how it's going. 25th January 2006. Hamas wins most seats in parliamentary elections. February 26. Israel decided to withhold millions of dollars of monthly tax revenue owed to the Palestinian administration authority. 12th March 2006, Israel closed its only passenger crossing on the Gaza-Israel border for Palestinians, allowing only special permit holders to cross. March 2006, USA suspends assistance to the Palestinian Authority, bans United States government contact with the Palestinian Authority, and prohibits unlicensed transactions with it. 25th June 2006, Palestinian gunmen capture Israel soldier Gilad Shalit during a cross-border raid. 28 June 2006, Israel bombs Gaza Soul Power Station and launches Operation Submarine, which continues until November, and claims the lives of more than 257 people, a quarter of them children, and injuries over 1,000. Means killed 457 people, quarter of them children, and injuries 1,000. Why? They captured Gilad Shalit. 9 June 2007, Egypt closes its Rafah border with Gaza to the public. Until 1 June 2010, it only opens sporadically for special cases such as medical patients, students, and foreign visa holders. 12 June 2007, Israel closes the Karni crossing used to bring in large quantities of commercial goods into Gaza. 15th June 2007, Hamas controls the Gaza Strip. September 2007, Israel declared Gaza as hostile entity and imposes several restrictions on the movement of individuals and the entry of gas and electricity suppliers. To 2nd December 2007, Israel High Court rules that limiting fuel and electricity supply to Gaza is in accordance with Israeli law. February 2008, Israel launches a 5-day aerial and ground attack on Gaza, Operation Hot Winter, killing at least 110 Palestinians, including 26 children. In this attack, 110 Palestinians, including 26 children. 4th November 2008, Israel seals all border crossings and prevents all humanitarian aid and staff from entering Gaza. 2007, December 2008, Israel launches a 23-day military offensive until 18 January 2009, dubbed Operation Cast Lead against Gaza, killing at least 1,383 Palestinians, including 333 children and 114 women, and injured over 5,300. October 2012, Israel, how I review for myself who truly Netanyahu. Finally. In this 2008 December attack, when he killed so much people, is of course genocide. It's genocidal attack. I call him not attack civilian areas, schools, or others, but he anyway did. After, when this was stopped, I call him who directly was bombed, attacked the schools or other resident areas. They should be arrested. There should be investigation. There should be through investigation. They should be punished. And there should be international, independent inquiry too. He all that denied. For that time, not only Netanyahu, but about Netanyahu. We're talking about blah, peace, talks, because Hamas, terrorist org, therefore we're acting. But here we're for peace, for talks. We want peace, two-state solution. Finally, this mask was taken down from his shameful face of Netanyahu. October 2012, Israel reveals a 2008 document about restrictions it placed on entry of food between 2007 and 2010. The document calculates the minimum number of calories needed by Gaza residents and then uses this to determine the quantity of food allowed into the strip. This international criminal court case, all that. They already investigation, thanks to Fatwa Bensouda, former in previous chief prosecutor of International Criminal Court, predecessor of today's prosecutor Karim Khan. This is all international criminal case. This is all fact check. 14 November 2012, Israel launches a 4-day attack on Gaza, Operation Pillar of Defense, killing 162 Palestinians, injuring 1,003 others, and destroying 200 homes. 8 July 2014, Israel launches a devastating 51-day attack on Gaza, Operation Protective Edge, killing 2,147 Palestinians and wounding 10,870 others. 17,123 homes were hit, of which 2,465 were destroyed. On 1st September 2015, the United Nations warns that Gaza could become uninhabitable by 2020 due to the ongoing development of the Strip. 10 May 2021, Israel launches an 11-day attack on Gaza, killing 254 Palestinians, including 66 children, and injuring 1,948 others. 9th May 2023, Israel launches a 5-day military campaign on Gaza, leaving 33 Palestinians killed, including 6 children and 3 women. This is how Gaza Strip was blockaded. You can't call as Putin are doing, acting terrorists, Russia state of terrorists, sponsored terrorism and state of terrorists. Attacking, destroying Israel and calling them terrorists because Ukrainian fighting. Killing Russians means militaries, their forces, and their additional all life, of course, fresh. He doing that, Putin, their genocidal action in Bucha, each time, even Malaysia airplane from 2014 time. There. This is Putin method, called this Ukraine did. Cluster bomb attack on Kramatorsk train station. Also Ukraine did, terrorists, etc. Same tactic using, of course, Israel authority about Hamas. Israel start terror attack, even terror method using explosion, blow up. In Lebanon, Palestinian administration there was building, and such attack was several. Later more, and now stay doing terror attack against Palestinians. From fascist authority of apartheid state. Palestinian resisting using what they had on their hand and in which situation they, when Israel killing genocidal form, killing civilians of Palestinians, this only less, this about Gaza Strip, how it was blockaded. But previous time, start from Nakba, how many civilians were killed by Israeli military, Israeli authority. And Hamas, Palestine created some unit called Hamas for fight for their land. They're fighting, also targeted civilians. This is unacceptable, of course. This is also crime against humanity. And International Criminal Court, they are in this investigation. There should be indictment against Hamas, who was ordered to attack Israel innocent civilians, killing them. Of course that. But why Hamas called terrorists Israel to plenty time more against Palestinians, called ally, because Rothschild and co. I say, people, humanity, civilization of planet Earth, you won't be survived. Today, question today. Question of day not, question of today's. You won't be survived, humanity. If you want, act immediately. No look at political establishment, political leaders. Not do this mistake. If you will watch at them, you will die, humanity. You will no longer exist. I'm talking about today's political establishment, not entirely what after will. We can change this, and you will survive. But action should be immediately. Climate crisis, killer of you. Not only you, of course. Today's life, white spaces, absolute majority of white spaces. Marine life or nature, forest life, absolute majority. But we can stop all that. You can be survived. For that, in same day, worldwide, you should be on streets and squares by peaceful protest. Means should be billions of you on streets and squares same day across world. If you will do that, you will survive. And do that difficult. Go to street with placard even without they will activists go with banners. Simple action. And you will survive. We will elect leaders worldwide. We will elect leaders and they will act. And we will stop climate crisis. We do not have time. Avalanche effect coming, and if you start, if you will broke 1.5 degrees Celsius, and this means 2035, no later, maximum 2035. Avalanche effect will start. And what you will do after that, not will help. This is about planet Earth organism. The Gulf Stream will collapse there even earlier, can be. But I retweeting there was info, last report. During the century, this not 2040. But look, this Gulf Stream, what will happen around? This not will happen because Gulf Stream will collapse. You know, this not, this too. What do you think if Gulf Stream not will collapse? This mess not will happen? You're wrong. Mess, not something will happen. With Gulf Stream collapse, or Gulf Stream collapse will occur even earlier than 2040. Possible can. When avalanche effect will start, Gulf Stream also will collapse. Here one tweet about political. I already said that today in Chinghiz Live. What Rothschild and Co. planning in election, 2024 election in America? And why the shameful condomble RFK Jr. Huh? Who was his father? True American, John Kennedy, Robert Kennedy. Who this IFK Jr.? Evil. Part of their schemes, they were directly. Rothschild and Co. operate only by schemes. Only by schemes. Schemes. And IFK part of that. Ask him. They go take 2024. In 2024, take White House back. And IFK Jr. for that. He too. Simon Rosenberg. So best explanation I have heard for why IFK Jr. is not running in the Dems Democratic primary, not campaigning, reaching out to Democratic groups, doing media Dems, Democrats watch, and is only speaking to right-wing venues in that he being groomed to be possible Trump running mate in a unity ticket. This is possible, I think. Can. He replied to his previous tweet. Just so we are all clear, the MAGA House Judicial Committee is giving all sorts of free airtime to someone, means IFK Jr., who is claiming to be a Democrat running for president. Sure, on the up and up, it all is. And his reply for his tweet, I already read. And what here? Can be Trump made by his Democrat, brothers, uncle. But he no Democrat. He evil, simply. Racist, far right. What means far right? Racist. Climate crisis denier means purely satanic, evil person. This is IFK Jr. And he intentionally no resign from Democrat Party, no announcing that. Even running for president from Democrat Party side means that. A Democrat running for president. And here, tactic version means he and Trump unite. A country divided, they're united. The IFK Jr. doing that together with Trump. Which plan they try use? Not be fooled, American people. Look who they, and this will enough. Not how they present themselves, but who they truly, by fact check, which enough have, company verified fact check, or enough public fact check reveal it. Who IFK Jr., who Trump. Trump commit several treason against you. IFK, he's her ally. But he called himself Democrats. Rothschild and Co. which scheme using? How he controlled party establishment. This about that. Now about climate crisis. Return to this. This is about record heats. Records of record one of. This past week broke records for the hottest days in about 125,000 years, which take us back to the bare edge of the human story. We are at a hinge point in that story, if ever there was one. This Bill McCabe said. And here again, returning to today's evil party Republicans. The president was a governor in Texas, for example. Ben Vermont, exclusive officers working for Greg Abbott's Texas government. Greg Abbott's border security initiative have been ordered to push children into the Rio Grande and have been told not to give water to migrants, according to an email from the DPS trooper who described the actions as inhumane. Of course, inhumane. The heat wave to record to their water variation too. And Texas governor ordered that they should die. This about America. The last info means current info was Department of Justice sued Greg Abbott about this Rio Grande action. Should be about who Republicans. It's about that who Republicans. Evil, undeniable evil. Kenneth wrote, Jewish groups in the US, United States, have condemned the Israeli parliament's vote to limit the power of the judiciary as a threat to democracy and warned that it could damage relations with American Jews. But Biden says only that it is unfortunate. Means nothing, said. There should be action, I already said that. How Americans should react to fascist authority of Israel. For stop them and stop apartheid regime of Israel and Israel people on streets and squares across Israel demanding that stop racist state, apartheid. Look what means climate crisis. Sophie Gabriel, marine heat wave. In June, temperatures of the west coast of Ireland were between 4 degrees Celsius and 5 degrees Celsius above average, which the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, classified as Category 5 heat wave or beyond extreme. They now attacking me, try to distract my mind. You see, when they attack it, they petuk, this is how I live. Acting petuk, I beating immediately. You seeing them, I seeing them, how they acting. This is how I live. Direct order it. And they police the three generals. They two in bunker. They acting Sodom Himoro for. Try intervene. And we seeing them. Okay? Bottom line this. And this reality. and you have live untouchable. Why? Because Israel, because Britain, one of me, you have live back. This monarchy of Britain. And Israel fascist authority of Netanyahu. Netanyahu authority. And what this means, you know, EU, America, you have untouchable, should be. But again, Chinghiz is condemning, but this not banque not exist. This condom, George W. Bush. I was on our side. He denied. No banque, no system terror torture against Chinghiz. With democratic people, what we can do? We try here. Condom, evil, satanic. Do it. Putler, Bush. And you have my live at Putler. People tend to think about trees and grasses dying when we talk about heat wave. When we talk about heat waves, the Atlantic is 5 degrees Celsius warmer than it should be. That means organisms need 50% more food just to function as normal. 5 degrees Celsius in oceans, that means there 50% more food needed for organism for just to function as normal. They have marine life have enough food. And they will extinct, already happening because heat wave in oceans, particularly in Atlantic, massive diet fish. We also not will have food, enough food. Organisms will demand more food, but you will have less food. This for start position. What means climate crisis? Your organism will demand more food, but you will have less food than now. In a situation when this already happening, this happening this. But if you will fail act now, you will fail fight climate crisis because you're too late. Climate defiance. Just 5 days ago, our group faced arrest in the halls of the Capitol. 5 days ago. Even the progressives pleaded with us to leave. They told us they have the climate issue under control. Of course not. They have under control. The progressives acting sometimes, also I should say that, as evil. You remember their letter to President Joe Biden? Stop help Ukraine, stop attack sanctions Putin. This also was progressives. Meanwhile, our government spoons out $20 billion per year to the industry ready to end it all. Means oil and gas industry. Joel Gergis, a few of my thoughts on the extreme conditions playing out right now. I'm sure I'm not the only climate scientist who feels feels this way. Scott Duncan. The Greek government declared that Rhodes evacuation due to out of control wildfire is the largest in country's history. And here video of that. This also should be said to you something about what's coming to you worldwide. This evacuation such forum when they can this forum evacuated. Julian Dresser, we are kidding ourselves if we think everything is okay once the wildfire stops, because tipping points have been reached. Tough, many are reluctant to actually say so. This will accelerate the already severe impact we are facing today. We are facing a crisis. We must act. Tweeting Julian Dresser, replying to tweet from Sophie Gabriel. Sophie Gabriel tweeting, if anything, we need to get it in our head so we can communicate to friends, family, our communities, etc. That tipping thresh- thresh- thresholds have already been reached. And hitmen of these systems will cause further warming acceleration. Quote from Timothy Lenton. Timothy Lenton, scientist. He professor of climate change and Earth system science. Quote from him. Timothy, Professor Timothy Lenton. Some tipping point thresholds have already been reached, while others are getting closer as global warming continues. Once, tip, once tipped into a new state, many of these systems will cause further warming and may interact to form cascade that could threaten the existence of human civilization. Professor Timothy Lenton. Greta, she fined Sinai courtroom. She fined for peaceful demonstration, fighting big fossil fuel. And about this, Amnesty International, Greta Thunberg and other activists are protesting fossil fuel infrastructure while governments are failing to urgently address the climate crisis. And here, video, look, she arrested. To draw attention to the climate crisis and physically stop fossil fuel infrastructure. And same time, when you have this mass, recorded wave, 100,000 years record, all this mass, food, mood, wildfires, the times. Look, and here, headline. Tory means today's British government retreat from green policies to woo, to woo voters. Okay, who they? A video how climate defines in capital. Climate defense. We swarmed the whole of Congress today, this is July 20. Every head turned, every jaw dropped. Revolution was in the air. The progressives begged us to stand down, but we held our ground. 9 of us were arrested. We are in an emergency. We must act like it. And here this video. Climate defense in Congress. About Israel racist state, means apartheid state. Breaking the silence, quote, it's not only about Israel, it's about the Israeli occupation in the West Bank. And without a functioning Supreme Court, it will be much easier for any government, and especially this one, to significantly hamper even more the rights of Palestinians in the West Bank. This is why Netanyahu government cut it, Supreme Court capability, okay, and judiciary, for that reason, mainly for that reason, but this also very seriously can and will harm Israeli people. They are no longer will democracy. Therefore, we should stop Netanyahu government, Israel people, continue much more powerfully, continue your protest demonstrations, and we should remove Netanyahu government. Now together with you, start do that. Our goal. Netanyahu government should be removed. I say. Israeli protesters refused to be donkeys. Kenneth wrote, an entire generation Israel is taking to the street to resist that they see as the rise of a corrupt theocracy. Very correct, that's true. Corrupt theocracy. Under Netanyahu's government of far-right extremists. Here about climate crisis. Greta Thunberg. Take that in. Then try wrapping your head around the fact that we are only seeing the beginning of the destabilizing planet, while remembering that GHG emissions, gas, greenhouse gas, are still rising, and the companies largely causing this are making record profits. A bit concerning, don't you think? Asking her. And she tweeted to this tweet from Professor Elliot Jacobson. Our favorite planet has now seen 20 days in a row breaking the modern day, record high temperature of approximately 70 degrees Celsius, set only July 24th, 2022. This global heat wave is likely the hottest 20-day stretch in the last more than 100,000 years. Yes, 125,000 years. Uday. Dr. Genevieve Guenter. Now, can we stop saying that we have avoided the worst case scenario? And she tweeting for article from The Guardian. Call it, article name. Gulf Stream could collapse as early as 2025. Possible, can be. I don't think so, but situation, reality. I said 2024, even earlier. About 2025, what will tomorrow happen? When they are upper side doing. By big fossil fuels and political establishment back then, continue back then. Big banks, big oil, gas. A collapse would bring catastrophic climate impacts. Collapse of Gulf Stream would bring catastrophic climate impacts, but scientists disagree over the new analysis. But again, this collapse first will happen, this collapse of Gulf Stream, after that will have this mess, this wrong, this not, I say that, I, Chinghiz. Is somebody watching Gulf Stream, then will collapse, mess starting, not addition. Collapse of Gulf Stream will very seriously also, as other things, seriously affect, seriously fuel this avalanche effect. I see. One good news, Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of United Nations. The United Nations has begun a complex operation to transfer 1 million barrels of oil from a decaying tanker off the coast of Yemen. This is very dangerous tanker. now previously called that, and others also call it. And now United Nations, as Secretary General here tweeting, starting with that. He continued, we need to keep working to defuse what remains, a ticking time bomb, and avoid what would be by far the worst oil spill of our area. That's true. And now watch at this. Steven Donziger, the unleashing of a vicious dog on a 23-year-old unarmed black man in Ohio is even more horrifying than I understood. He was being chased by multiple cops with guns drawn. Read this chilling reporting by Kate Seifert of local news outlet. Breaking video of the white cop unleashing a vicious dog on an unarmed black man in Ohio is repulsive in the extreme and another sign of police racism. This was going to end up as a murder until other officers intervening. It's indisputable. Fire the cop and prosecute him, of course. And again, the black man was unarmed. And here a video of that. This United States police, of course, they MAGA. This police racist, undeniable racist. This MAGA put a structure into United States by schemes. Who in MAGA support America, they not aware of that. I try wake up them. MAGA using for take people, good name. But this put a structure, and both of put a structure into America, this Trump. Look at this video.
Do not release the dog with his hands up. Do not release the dog with his hands up. Do not. Get the dog off of me. Get the dog off of me. Get the dog. Get out the dog. Sit down.
I see. Here from climate defiance about climate change. Fucking stop it with your Barbenheimer post. Your pink crop top will not mean jack on an ancient planet. Antarctic sea ice is 6 standard deviation below the mean. Statistically, this should only occur once every 7,500,000 years. This is an emergency, don't you see? This about Putler crimes against humanity and war crimes. Christopher Miller, International Atomic Energy Agency, find mines at Russian-occupied Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. Having such explosive on the site is inconsistent with the IAEA safety standard and nuclear security guidance and creates additional psychological pressure on plant staff. Okay. He mined Zaporozhye nuclear plant. Pavlos Rufus, observing the devastating fires in Algeria, Sicily, Rhodes, etc., the fault lines of political divide that will determine the next years and the unavoidable struggles against apocalypse are already visible. True, we're talking about that apocalypse, but we can prevent, but politicians not will for prevent, not will act seriously. We need it for prevent this apocalypse. Not will. Can. They can join us. They can join to my call, Joe Biden and others. And we can, by declaring climate emergency and by concrete plan, new Marshall Plan, we can act. This only option this. Otherwise, not revoke. Immediately climate crisis emergency, means climate emergency, and implementation of new Marshall Plan. Immediately, each day count. I say, so I tried today, Chinghiz wife said all that, what truly happened in the world, how they fooling you as people, misleading you, distracting your mind, because all this about dome, this system dome, all under their control. Media, political establishment, big banks, big fossil fuels, all sphere, health, care sphere, education sphere, what social program sphere. And they're acting only by schemes. But we can stop them. They're weak if we're together. I know that exactly. My mission for you as people. But my mission can occur in civilized form, but I remain on the system Tehran-Tosha. And the system Tehran-Tosha exists because they this, as you see, they this. They controlled me because my mission from Universe Unity, and they aware of that, and for that reason they keeping me under control each second. My system Tehran-Tosha, and each time they all that deny it and deny. And Ilham Aliyev remain untouchable for that reason. For that reason, Ilham Aliyev untouchable. And against you, this same people who rule the world. Behind Ilham Aliyev, Israel, Britain, behind them, Rothschild and Co. who rule the world. And in my case, we should act too the same. My mission can be successful if we together will work in civilized form. So no way political establishment recognize my rights and protect my rights. I try fight them. They control me, even each cent of my money. They control it. I open crowdfunding account in Patreon and open account in PayPal. So my video, this video I will put in Patreon. Join. We should in reality, in practice, fight them. I say. All together with you as people, I'm Chinghiz.